It's a fascinating lecture, sir. You are really given so much, and I just want to mention one thing. Actually, as the gist of this lecture is that is sir showed how the temples are built with the perishable materials, and after that, how it went to made on solid things like in stone, and again it came back to the perishable material, that brick and cement. Latestly we are using it. We are getting not only the archaeological evidence, one Mahendravarman's cave temple at Mandagapattu clearly giving the inscriptional evidence of how he made that. The king says he made that cave for Trimutis without using the perishable materials like wood, mortar, brick and metal. So that is how it is. Thank you very much, sir.
It's my pleasure to invite Dr. S. Muthu for his talk on temple architecture from the Agama Texts. Now we are going to say the theoretical part, and he will be dealing the practical things also. Dr. S. Muthu an accomplished scholar in Sanskrit and Vivekanada tradition, holds a PhD and a D.Litt with an illustrious academic and professional career. He earned the Nyaya Suraman degree in 1989 from Sri Ahobilam Sanskrit College, Madurantakam. It was the same alma mater for me also. I was a student from 1971 to 81. And subsequently completed his MA and MPhil in Sanskrit at Ramakrishna RKM, Vivekanada College, Chennai. In 1997, he was awarded a PhD by the University of Madras for his research on ritual literature in the Vivekanada tradition. He also pursued additional qualification, including a B.Ed in English and Sociology and a master's degree in library science from Annamalai University. Dr. Muthu has received numerous honors, including the prestigious silver medal for his expertise in Vivekanada Agama, alongside titles such as Sri Vivekanada Bhagavata Sastra Pravina, Vivekanada Kula Alankara, and Vivekanada Kula Samrat. He always dedicated everything to his guru, in fact. That is his Guru Bhakti, in fact. Skilled in the Grantha script, he completed specialized training in manuscript reading and conservation at the Saraswati Mahal Library, Thanjavur. A prolific author with over 40 publications, Dr. Muthu has presented papers on diverse topics like the Ramayana, Mahabharata, Tirupavai, Vivekanada Agama and iconography. He has delivered lectures worldwide, including at Harvard University and Boston University, focusing on post-Vedic literature and Hindu philosophy. His international engagements included participating in not alone presentation of talks, major religious ceremonies and Maha Samproksham events in Singapore, France and the USA. Dr. Muthu has also guided 3 PhD scholars and 9 MPhil students to completion, with many others currently under his mentorship. His dedication to promoting Vivekanada philosophy through lectures, conferences and writings continues to inspire, earning him the D.Litt, the most prestigious award, from the University of Madras in 2022 at the age of course I am not mentioning, he is so young, I don't want to mention his age now. With his accomplishments steadily growing by the grace of Lord Srinivasa and Vivekananda Acharya, we are very eagerly waiting to hear his talk. Thank you.
Narayanam sakamalam sakalamarindram Vaikharasam mama gurum nigamagamindram Brigvadrikashyapamarichi mukhan munindran Sarvanaham kulagurun pranamami murdhuna Mruduhridaye daye Mriditaka mahite mahite dridavibudhe budeshu vitatat madhure madhure Vrishagiri sarvabu madajite majite mahatim babuka nidhe nidhehi Bhavamula haram laharim Dishantu me deva sadattvadiyaha Dajataranga nuchara katakshaha Srotreshu pumsam amritam ksharantim saraswatim Sanshidaka madhenum Visheshavitparishateshu natha Vidagda goshti samaranganeshu Jigishato me kavitarkikendran Jihvagrasimhasanam abhyupeyaha Tvatpreyasashravanajoramritajamanam Tulyam tvadiyamaninupurasinchitanam Gode tvameva janani tvadabhishtavarham वाचं प्रसन्नमधुरां मम संविदेहि प्रस्तुतेऽहं नमस्कृत्य शौरीपुत्रं नमाम्यहं गोपालपुत्रं पितरं नमामि च पुनः पुनः. नमः सदसे नमः सदसस्पतये. First of all, I would like to thank the Dr. Nandita Krishnan, Director of the CPR Center, and also I would like to thank the Dr. Mohan, who is the Assistant Director of this CPR Center, for giving me the chance to deliver a lecture on temple architecture in Sanskrit Agama Texts. This lecture aims to give an overview of the key architectural features of temples, focusing mainly on the principles found in the Vivekanada Agama. The Vivekanada tradition, known for its emphasis on purity and devotion, provides valuable insights about temple constructions. I belong to Vivekanada community, and hence I am going to talk based on the Vivekanada Agama. This Agama not only guides how temples are built but also influence the rituals and worship. I will explain some aspect of temple architecture as described in the Vivekanada Agama. The purpose of a temple. The Vivekanada Agama, also called Vivekanada Bhagavad Shastra, finds an important place in guiding temple construction and worship in Vishnu temples. According to this tradition, temples are not just buildings. They represent the cosmos and serve as a link between the divine and the devotees. The spiritual benefits of such worship is mentioned in the following verses. This verse is available in Khiladikara of Vivekanada Shastra. Ahanyahani yajnena yachate yan mahaphalam prapnoti tatphalam vishnoho yakkarayati mandiram. The great merit and one attained by the performing sacrifices every day is obtained by the one who constructs a temple for Lord Vishnu. Karayet bhagavadgeham iti buddhva karoti yaha sattajanma kritam papam alpam va yediva bahu Vishnuralaya vinyasa prarambha deva nasyati. Whoever thinks to build a temple for the Lord, all these sins accumulated over 7 births, whether small or great, are destroyed right from the moment they begin to plan the construct the Vishnu temple. Pratimam lakshanabatim yaha karayati manavaha keshavasya satallokam akshayam pratipadyate. The one who makes an image of the Lord Vishnu with the appropriate attributes attain the eternal abode of Kesava. Berabuja Tiyam Prokta Pujanam Uttamottama Atite Yajamanepi Chiramasya Avasthitehe. This iconic worship is described the best of all form of worship, and even when the worshipper has passed away, its merit persists for a long time. From these points, we can understand that constructing a temple is said bring the same benefits as performed a great sacrifices, that is Mahayajna in every day. Even wishing to build a simple temple, that is otherwise small temple, can erase the papas of Sattajanma. Installing a pratima of the Lord is described as a highly virtuous act that grants the worshipper Vaikuntaloka. Iconic worship, that is Berabuja, is considered the best form of worship because its benefits extended not only in the donor or priest but to all devotees and the entire world. Now we move to the elements of temple, that is Garbhagriha Lakshana. In Marichi Vimanarchana Kalpa, very clearly specify the Garbhagraha Lakshana, that is, Vimana Vistaram Trichatush Pancha Satta Nava Ekadasa Bhagam Kritva Yathakramena Eka Di Tri Chatu Pancha Shadamsam Garbhagraha Vistaram Syat. Vimana Vistara Sabam Tribada Mardhamba, there is the error, typographical error is there. Ardhamba Mukhamantapam Tadyantaram Trayodasabhagam Kritva Atha Ekamsadhikena Ajamam Sattavimsadi Vedam Syat. Dimension of the sanctum and sanctorum, that is Garbhagraha, the width of the sanctum is calculated as the specific fraction of the total width of the Vimana. Depending on the design, the sanctum's width can be 1/11, 1/12 or 1/15, so on. The depth of the sanctum is similarly derived and can be adjusted to match these proportions. The Antarala, next to the Garbhagraha, there is the Antarala is there. Santaralam tasya veshanam didandam dandartam padamba tada ayamam astena padamardham tripadam ekahastadi sapada panchahastantam sabittikam dwaram jalakam va kuryat. I do not know how to understand you people, because the dandam, there is the some of the measurement is there. Hastam means there is the measurement is there. Ayamam is this, there is a special measurement is there according to our Shastra. Once you know the any one of the measurement, you can understand what how we are going to talk here. Anyway, just you should understand the measurement of the entrance of the Garbhagraha to Antarala are determined relative to the Garbhagraha's width. Its height and depth are carefully calculated. Calculated often in specific proportions like half a unit, that is danda, 1 unit or more. The entrance, including the door frame and the decorated elements, should match these proportions. Next, after Antarala, there is the Mantapa is there. The Vaikhanasa Agama mentioned the different types of Mantapas, that is, Ayam Divyalayaha, Garbhageha, Antarala. The Garbhagraha is there. After the Garbhagraha, there is the Antarala is. After the Antarala, there is the Ardhamantapa is there. After Ardhamantapa, we have the Mahamantapa. The same things, many Mantapas they have prescribed in Agama Shastra. Ardhamantapa, Mahamantapa, Pratakshina Mantapa, Rittagida Vadya Mantapa, Udyana Mantapa, Snana Mantapa, Yaga Mantapa, Sri Pushpayaga Mantapa, Sarvalankara Mantapa, Boga Mantapa, Bojya Mantapa, Sayana Mantapa, Yeganta Mantapa, Veda Sastra Anuvachana Mantapa, Vyavahara Mantapa, Sri Churna Krishna Gandhotsava Mantapa, Jalakrida Mantapa, Garuda Gaja Turagada, Yana Rohana Avarohana Mantapa. The measurement is differ from this, all these Mantapas to Garuda, Gaja, Turagadi, Yana Rohana. So once if we are decorating the Lord on the some Vahana, the proportion of the height may be differed. Accordingly, you may have to construct the Mantapas. Garuda, Gaja, Turagadi, Yana Rohana, Avarohana Mantapa, Yajna Mantapa, Chitra Mantapa, Tantra Mantapa, Vinoda Mantapa, Vana Mantapa, Giri Mantapa, Tyagadana Mantapa, Tirthadana Mantapa, Spatika Mantapa, Swarna Mantapa, Rajada Mantapa, Navaratra Mantapa, Asthana Mantapa, Chatustamba Mantapa, Sahasrastamba Mantapa. Like this, many Mantapas described Agamas. Accordingly, we may have to calculate the height and the width. We may have to construct all the Mantapas. There is the elaborate discussions available in Marichi Vimanarchana Kalpa, how to build all these areas. For constructing the Mantapa, the calculation is prescribed. That is ordinary Mantapa. That is Marichi Vimanarchana Kalpa. Mukhamantapam Kritva Tat Pramukhe Tad Ayamena Padadikam Ardhadikam Tripadadikam Digunamba Vistaram Vimanat Padardham त्रिपादाद् अधिक विस्तारमायुतम् अर्धमण्टपं कुर्यात् एतन्मध्ये भद्र दोरणाद्यैः युक्तम् अयुक्तं वा त्रिवर्गाढ्यं कुर्यात्. You cannot construct the mandapa simply whatever it is 4 pillars or 6 pillars or 8 pillars or 16 pillars or 32 pillars. You may have to decorate it accordingly. That is what here mentioned. Etan madhye bhadra toranadyehi yuktam. If the Agama prescribed here, you may have to decorate it, the mantapas in the side wall, that is upper wall. If it is not there, it is not a mantapa. Is telling yakni yuktam ayuktam va. If it is possible, you can decorate it. Otherwise, you leave it. The decoration for only for decorating the mantapas only. If it is there, then only it is mantapa. Otherwise, it is not mantapa. It is not like that. Here, proportions of the mukha mantapa or the ardha mantapa is designed with specific measurements. Its width is made to match the sanctums width or sometimes slightly larger with intricate designs. The height and the placement of the features like dwara and toranas are decorated with the accordingly with accurate measurements. Yatad vimanasya प्रमुखं विना पार्श्वत्रये मद्रपद्य विमान विपुल त्रिभागं एकं चतुर्भागं पंचभागं त्रिभागं वा तन्निर्गम दंड मध्यर्थं द्विदंडं वा पादं तस्यावसाने कुर्यात्. तोरणानाम् उच्छेदं स्थलात् उपरि उत्तर अधस्तात् द्विचतुर्भागात् त्रिभागात् द्विभागं वा तोरणपादोच्छेदं सात्तं त्रिभागैकम् अथवा दण्डेन त्रिचतुष्पञ्च दण्डादि विस्तारं तस्य पादबाह्यपादावच्छेन तदङ्गानि मानयेत्. तोरणान्तरं गाढप्रवेशं दण्डं त्रिपादम् अर्धं वा शेषं जशोच्छेदम् उत्तङ्गं पञ्चवक्त्रैः युक्तं पार्श्वयोः मकरस्य मध्ये पूरितं गाढयुक्तं नाना लता पत्रजातादि विचित्रितं सर्वालंकारैः यथाशोभं युक्त्या कारयेत्. Whatever the decorations, whatever you think it, whatever it may be the correct, it may be the akarshana to devotees, you may do it. Those things are I am not described here. Very clearly specified the विमानार्चन कर्पा सर्वालंकारैहि यथाशोभम युक्त्याकारयेत. The yuktya word is here mentioned because you may get it some of the ideas from Shilpa Shastra also. So whatever I have not derived here, dealt here, you may take it the remaining ideas from the Shilpa Shastra also. The Agama Shastra says like this: Vimanasya adhishtanat uparyuttarantam padatungam तत्र रस मुनि वसु नवदशभागं कृत्वा तद एकांशवेदिक उत्सेदं तत्तुंगं चतुर्धा कृत्वा अर्धांशं कंपं द्यंशं कंठं कर्णं अर्धांशं कंपं बद्धमर्थांशं कंपम एवं एक प्रत्यंगेषु योजयेत्. This is a text available in Marichi Vimanarchana Kalpa in Vivekanada Bhagavad Shastra. Ornamentation and structure is described elaborately. Toranas are adorned with the carving and involved designs. The height of these toranas is specified relative to the relevant structure, typically 1/4 or 1/3 of the height from the base. The space between the torana and the walls is measured and often filled with the decorative elements like lotus design, animal images, crocodiles, etc. and other patterns. Every decorative feature is planned to enhance the temple symmetrically and beauty. The temple entrance, including the windows is crafted with the proportional height and width, enhancing functionality and aesthetic. Decorative elements like flowers, garlands, intricate carvings are added to elevate the temple grandness. That is, next one is the Dwara Lakshana. Atha Dwara Lakshanam Bakshe Padayamadvara Utsedam Tadardha Vistaram Vistaradhigamanam Viman Nirdeshangulam Ekadhyashtankulantam Navadha Bhavati Athava Dandena Padadandadi Padadikam Didantantam Padadanda Vridhya Navavidham Syat Astena Padam Sardhapadam Ardhabidhi Vistaram Samamba Bahuladwara Vipulam Padotsedam Satta Ashta Nava Dasabhagam Gritva Kshasattashta Navabhagam Suddhatvaram Seshansam Dita Kritva Ekamsham Bhuvangam Ekamsham Patangam Atava Bhuvangamanam Tribhaga Ekasesham Patankamanam Syat Tassamam Dakshinottara Sambanirgamanam Tad Bahulat Padadikam Ardhadikam Pado Nedviganam Digunamba Tesham Vipulam Bagula Samam Nana Pushpavallikam Karayet Athava Tan Mahadvaram Ched Shodasamsam Gritva Trayodasamsam Suddhadvaranotsedam Saddhamsam Saptamsam Ashtamsam Va Dvara Vistaram Shodasamsam Dita Kripta Ekamsham Bhuvangam Ekamsam Patangam Syat Anyat Sarvam Purvavat Karayet. Purvavat means the Dwara Lakshana is in the Mantapa Lakshana itself prescribed many decorations. Accordingly, you may have to take it the decorations from the Mantapa and then you may have to decorate it here. The characteristics of the door is discussed. Proportions of the door. The door's height is determined based on the length of the pada and its width is based on its breadth. That is Mukhamantapa. Alternatively, the door's height can be measured using the danda. It may vary between 1.5 or 2 dandas in height proportionate to the structure. Width and depth of the door frame. The width is proportional to the pada with slight variations. For specific purpose, the door may be divided into part like 6, 7, 8 divisions. Determine the correct proportion of the components. That is Bhuvanga, lower section, 1/3 of the width. Patanga, the upper section, remaining 2/3 further divided into etc. Like this, the measurement is going on. Measurement for the decorative doors. The doors are is large, Mahadwara, proportions are adjusted keeping 1/8 or 1/16 of the guiding ratio. The remaining sections of the divided into lower and upper portions for the symmetrical balance. Construction of guidelines. Decoration elements like floral creepers, that is Pushpa, Vallika, are added for the aesthetic appeal. The door panels, that is Kavata, should align with the door frame dimensions, maintaining the balance in height and width. Door joints should be strong using iron or wood or decorate with the motifs like flowers and ornamental designs. Establishment of the 6 parts of the door. It is, the Shastra is prescribed very clearly. Install the Bhuvanga lower beam, that is first, followed by the Dakshina Stamba, that is south pillar. Next is the Uttara Stamba, that is north pillar. Next is Patanga, upper beam. The Bhuvanga is the upper beam, lower beam. The Dakshina Kavata, the southern panel. Uttara Kavata is northern panel. The process should be guided by rituals and appropriate mantras for each components. Here the Vivekanada Shastra says, that is Dhatarancha Vidhataram Bhuvankancha Patankakam patiram varunanchaiva kavate dakshinottare dhataram dakshine stambhe uttarabi mukham tata uttarecha vidhataram dakshinabi mukham tata urdhvananam bhuvankancha patankancha pyadhomukam patiram varunanchaiva kavate dakshinottare yatra yatra kavatosti tatra tatra samarchayes. The same system you should follow all the dwaras, not is the first dwara, second dwara, that dwara, fourth dwara, fifth dwara, seventh dwara. Here not at all mention each and every dwara. So once it is mentioned, accordingly you may have to follow all the dwaras. The metricals for door construction performed preferred would include Sirisha, Punnaga, Nimba, Bhagula, Arjuna, Madhuka and Panasa. If wood is unavailable, stone of the same type and texture may be used. The upper and lower beams, that is Urdhva Patanga and Adara Patanga, should be made from the same material as the door panel. Locking system. The inner locking mechanism, it should be wooden, while the outer lock should be made in the iron for durability. So if you are going to in the ancient period temples, there is the உள்ளுக்குள்ள குச்சிக்கோல் போடுறது, we used to say. So குச்சிக்கோல் போடுறதுங்கிறது உங்களால திறக்கவே முடியாது, அதை ஒண்ணுமே கிடையாது. டோருடையதான பேக் சைடில் ஒரு சின்ன கட்டை இருக்கும், அந்த சின்ன கட்டையில் ஒரு ஆணி அடிச்சிருப்பாங்க. இந்த ஃப்ரண்ட்லேருந்து சின்ன ஒரு துவாரம் இருக்கும், அந்த துவாரத்தில் ஒரு யூ ஷேப்பில் ஒரு பெரிய ராடு இருக்கும், அந்த ராடை வச்சு லைட்டாக தள்ளணும். இஃப் யூ டு நாட் நோ தி ஸ்மால் டெக்னிக், யூ cannot ஓப்பன் தி டோர். வாட் எவர் இட் மே பி, யூ மே டு broken it, then only open the door. Otherwise, in ancient period, the olden days, my grandfather used to do this only. Don't want to, what is called, buy the Dindukal puttu and then put it in the door. Not necessary. So simple technique. So this is the locker system is introduced in the Agama Shastra. It is also explaining here. The text emphasizes the every aspect of the doors construction must align with the prescribed proportions, aesthetic principles and ritualistic procedure and ensure structural of integrity and auspiciousness. Vimana. The Vimana, which is top portion of the Garbhagraha, is of different type, that is starting from the 2-story structure and goes up to 12 stories. Our Satyamurti also is explained about the Vimana. The Shastra says in Vivekanada Shastra, Ayam Divyalayaha. This Gopura, that is Tavar Garbha, above the Garbhagraha, there is the Gopura. We used to say the Antargatopa Pitopamana Jagati Kumuda Karnapattika Padaprastara Griva Shikharanasika Kshudranasika Ballivedi Parishkrita Pralina Vimana. There is the 8 steps is there. It is called Ashtanga Vimana. So the 8 position is there, then only we may call it as the Ashtanga Vimana. Otherwise we may call it a Saptanga or Shadanga or Panchanga Vimana. So there is the 8 step is there, whether you know or not. If you are not building according to this 8 step, so something is lacuna. Something is below the level of top one according to Agama Shastra. Now the Vimana is prescribed with different types of Vimana. What is now we are talking about the Dramida Vimana. The Spralinaka Vimana, Chitra Chilpa Vimana, Somachanda Vimana, Uragachanda Vimana, Suryavarta Vimana, Brahmavarta Vimana, Nandyavarta Vimana, Shashyavarta Vimana, Chaturashra Vimana, Digga Chaturashra Vimana, Ashtashraya Vimana, Utpulla Vimana, Garudakara Vimana, Shivatsagrita Vimana, Pranavakara Vimana, Anandakya Vimana, Kutakara Vimana, Kumbhakara Vimana, Tilaka Vimana, Bhalendu Vimana, Trikuta Vimana, Pashaka Vimana, Pankaja Vimana, Chatusputa Vimana, Nibbrahma Vimana, Paribrahma Vimana, Hilavarta Vimana, Gogarsha Vimana, Nagara Vimana, Dravida Vimana, Veshara Vimana, Amshamala Vimana, Gajashraya Vimana, Amahasta Vimana, Badmapatraka Vimana, Dravida Vimana, Vesara Vimana, Gajasai Vimana, Pranavakara Vimana, Anandakya Vimana, Kutakara Vimana, Kumbhakara Vimana, Tilaka Vimana, Bhalendu Vimana, Trikuta Vimana, Pashaka Vimana, Pankaja Vimana, Chatusputa Vimana, Nibbrahma Vimana, Hilavarta Vimana, Adi Aneka Vimana Parikarmita is telling about more than 50-60 Vimanas. Ityadi Aneka Vimana Parikarmitaha. That means you may include more Vimanas also. If for example, if we are talking about the Vimana, the Tirupati Srinivasa is having the Anandalali Vimana. If you are coming to the Sriranga, the Sriranga Vimana is Pranavakara Vimana. So usually we are seeing in everywhere the Kutakara Vimana only. Kutakara means it may be the round shape and then we may put it in the Ekadala Vimana. But it is available in everywhere. But if you are going to see some other places, you may see the different type of Vimanas. That is prescribed in Agama only. According to Agama only, they have constructed the temple. So without what are all the things not dealt in the Agamas, they are not going to build in the temple. Once if Agama prescribed everything, then only you are go on and taking the entire phala. Otherwise you cannot get it. Now, the two-story structure of Vimana, that is Didala Vimana. The dimension of the structure, length or breadth are divided into 9 parts. The inner chamber, Garbhagraha, surrounding the space like veranda and corridors or decorative features are carefully proportionated. The external wall are divided with specific allocation for smaller chamber, pillar and connecting the spaces. Design alternates can divided into structure into 8 parts, assign specific sections, halls and ornamental panels. The foundation or the elevation are described here, specific proportionate based 1/19 of the total height of the Gopura. The plinth is 1/20 of the total height. The additional level like molding, walls, decorations, spheres are proportionate similarly. This is one of the main ideas given by the Shastra for 2 stories, Ditala Vimana. The Tritala Vimana, the 3-story structure, the layout involved dividing into dimension into 13 parts with specific allocation of central sanctum, outer corridor and decorative elements. The middle level includes arrangements similar to the 2-story structure but with additional consideration of the aesthetic alignment. Proportionate for the base, plinth, vault and other architectural elements are adjusted, adding more refinement compared to the 2-story structure. The 4-story structure is Chatusthala. The dimensions are divided into 17 parts, ensuring proper allocation for the central sanctum and sanctorum spaces, surrounding spaces. Each level includes specific sanctum for different deities positioned according to the corridor decorations. If you are going to stories increased 5 stories, 6 stories, 7 stories, the surrounding places of the Vimana, you have the many idols, that is small idols, we have to keep it. These ideas they may have to prescribed for different type of the story. 5-story structure, they are similar to the 4-story design but with additional level and sanctums dedicated to the more deities. Proportion of the height of the decorative elements are slightly increased, giving the structure or more towering appearance. Each floor follows the same principles but with slight variations to suit the height and purpose. 6 to 12 level of stories. The design of the 6th to 12 level story structures follows similar principles with minor variations in proportions and deity placement. Each level may be dedicated to specific deities which sanctum is also arranged symmetrically. Architectural features like turrets, spires, and ornaments panels are proportionately scaled and the height increased. The general principle is for all structure, the base is soil and proportioned appropriately to support the height. Each level contains sanctum of deities arranged according to the cardinal direction of the traditional iconographic rules. Decorative features like porches, staircase, and ornamental panels are incorporated to enhance the visual appeal for the functioner. Upper lever and carefully designed with the reduced sizes, ensuring structural and stability and aesthetic balance. The gopuram. Tesham pramukhe dwaram gopuramba krutva adastat upari margam प्राच्याम उदीच्याम्बा दक्षिणोत्तर पश्चिमेषु क्षुद्रद्वारञ्च युक्तितः कारयेत् एतेषां बहिरावरणपृष्ठेऽपि एवं द्वारं गोपुरं वा कुर्यात् प्रथमावरणं विना अन्येषां कारयेत् इत्येके. The ityeke means the Granthakara is emphasizing his ideas. So construction of the entrance gopuras. So you cannot construct the entrance gopura in the Prathamavarana. So Prathamavarana you cannot construct it. This Ditiyavarana is there, Tritiyavarana is there, Chaturthavarana, Pancha, Shat, Satta. There is the 7 prakara is there. Accordingly you may have to construct the entrance gopuram for all. According to this Shastra only, now we are seeing in many temples, there is the pragara is there. In the pragara, in 4 sides, we have the small gopuram. The main entrance, the primary gateway gopuram should be constructed at the entrance to the temple premises. It can be positioned towards the east, north, south or west based on the convenience and suitability. Small secondary entrance may be added accordingly near the main entrance. Similarly, gateways or gopuram should be built on the outer enclosure as well. So this is here very clearly mentioned about the construction of the entrance gopuras. The measurement and proportions. The base structure, that is adhisthana, is divided into 2 parts with the height of the pillar being 7 times their width. The pillar dimensions range from 7 to 15 angulas in width depending on their classification as small, medium or large. The doorways and gateways are classified into 5 types based on the width and ornamentation, that is Dwaradhimana, that is grand gateway, that is Dwara Nala and Dwara Prasada and Dwara Hasya and Dwara Gopuram. Dimension of the grand doorways are determined by the specific ratios typically calculated using the materials of the asta, a unit of the measurement. The materials and designs. Use stone pillars of the structural stability and wooden ones only when necessary. For gateway and roofs, ensure balance proportions with symmetrically placement of the beams and decorative elements. Decoration and finishing. The gateway should feature ornamental carving and align with the traditional Shilpa Shastra. The Shilpa Shastra, wherever necessary, the Agama says that you can use from the Shilpa Shastra and you may have to decorate it. Stone layers should be laid first, followed by the piers and decorative elements like tulas, that is balancing the structure. That is Parivaralaya. Not only you may have to build according to the Agama Shastra main temple only, you may have to build the Parivaralaya also. That is enclosure the inner structures. Parivaralaya. The shrine of the other deities should be smaller and placed within the enclosure. Their size is determined based on the main sanctum and sanctorum dimensions, typically smaller. That is very clearly specified. You may have to smaller than the what is called, you have to build the smaller temple for the Parivaralaya. The mantapas are built symmetrically. This mantapas here mentioned for the Parivaralaya mantapas. You cannot build only for Parivaralaya. On Parivaralaya also you may have to build the mantapa. The mantapa are built symmetrically with defined proportions. The base area is multiplied by the ratio 2:1, 3:1 or 4:1 to determine the height and breadth. The additional halls such as dance hall and meeting pavilions can be constructed at in southern east, southeast or southwest corner. Rituals areas, that is Homakunda. The fire altar is placed in the second or third enclosure in the southeast direction. The kunda is designed with the proper dimensions and surrounded by the storage spaces for offerings. Water channels and drainage. The rainwater must not be wasted and it must be diverted to the Pushkarani, which is located in the northeast corner of the temple. Used water must also be diverted to the choke pit near the Pushkarani. So, like this we may have to construct it. For your ideas, I already told the Ashtanga is there for the Vimana. This is the Ashtanga Vimana in Turkostiyo. This is the Garbhagraha is there. Above the Garbhagraha there is the Ashtanga is there. This is Ashtanga, one of the famous temple tower. This is, you must see it. This is in the Tirukostiyur. The same structure is available in Uttaramerur also. The Ashtanga Vimana is in Uttaramerur also is there. The same Ashtanga Vimana is available in Kudalaragar Sanadi also. The another slide is there. That is Kudalaragar Sanadi is not there. Okay. So anyway, Kudalaragar Sanadi also Ashtanga Vimana. You may see the Kudalaragar also. Like this, the many ideas is going on about the temple construction. The conclusion. Today we have seen some important structural aspect of a temple, but if we look at the iconography, and Agama gives elaborate details about the different types of beras, which has to be dealt in the separate lecture. Thus, the Vivekanada Agama provides a profound insights into the temple architecture, emphasizing the interplay between the aesthetic elements, spiritual significance, and functional utility. Temples are considered as not merely physical structures, but as the sacred spaces representing the cosmos and connecting the divine with devotees. The guidelines offered in Agama ensure that every aspect from the Garbhagraha to the Mantapa and Gopuras is meticulously planned. By adhering to these principles, the Agama ensure that temples stand symbols of devotion, cultural heritage, and architectural brilliance. These guidelines continue to inspire temple construction, preserving the profound legacy of Indian temple architecture. I am very much thankful to this CPR Center for giving me the chance to deliver the lecture on temple architecture and Sanskrit Agama Texts. Thank you, one and all. Yes. 8 types is there, that is Ashtanga Vimana. There is 1 or 2 missing, so that we are not calling as a Ashtanga Vimana.
Thank you.
சார் நமஸ்தே.
நமஸ்தே.
இந்த விமான அர்ச்சன கல்ப கிரந்த தவிர வேற ஏதாவது கிரந்தங்கள் இருக்கா ஜென்ரலாக ஸ்டாண்டர்டாக படிக்கிறது?
So, first of all, if we are seeing about the Shilpa, that is construction of the temple is, the main text is Vimanarchanakalpa, wherever you go. If you are going to the, what is called Mamallapuram Architecture College, they are taking the Vimanarchanakalpa is the first text, because it is deal each and every loop and corner, that is very thing. So, in other text, they are giving the, what is called idea about the Vimanas. So, idea about the Garbhagraha, they are giving in the Shloka Rupa, that is in the Kavya Rupa, that is not available in like much more what Marichi Vimanarchanakalpa is dealing. Little bit only. So that this is the main text. So from chapter 4 to chapter 25, describing about the temple construction only. Later on, they are going to start about the Bera Lakshana and then Patra Lakshana, how to Patras you may have to use it in the temple. That Lakshana also is available in the Vimanarchanakalpa. Everything is there. Karshanadi Pradishtantam, Pradishtadi Utsavantam, Utsavadi Prayichintantam. These typely the matter is discussed in the Vimanarchanakalpa. Yes, sir.
Sir, I am Ramesh from Indo-ISND School, Madurandagan.
Super. Thank
Also
you.
a part-time research scholar in Pachipas College.
Super.
My question is in Tamil.
No problem.
ஆகமத்தின் அடிப்படையில் தான் கோயில்கள் கட்டப்பட்டது அப்படிங்கிற நோக்கத்தில் உங்களுடைய ஆய்வு போயிட்டு இருந்தது. ஆகமத்தின் அடிப்படையில் தான் கோயில்கள் கட்டப்பட்டது என்பதற்குண்டான கல்வெட்டு சான்றுகள் எங்காவது உண்டா?
இருக்கின்றது. இந்த தொல்காப்பியத்திலும் கூட நிறைய சொல்லுகிறார்கள். ஆகமமானது ஒரு சாஸ்திரத்தை, இப்ப ரெண்டு விஷயம் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். இப்ப கோவில்கள் கட்டப்பட்டது யாரால் கட்டப்பட்டது? நம்முடைய முதியோர்களால் கட்டப்பட்டது. முதியோர்கள் யாரை கொண்டு கட்டினார்கள்? பலவிதமான ரிஷிகளுடையதான அபிப்பிராயத்தை கொண்டு கட்டினார்கள். மந்திர திருஷ்டாரோ முனையாக ரிஷிகள்னு சொல்லுகின்றோம். இப்ப ரிஷிகள்னு சொன்னோம்னாக்க ரிஷிகளுக்கு எல்லாருக்குமே எல்லா விஷயமே தெரியும். டெக்ஸ்ட், ஆகமா டெக்ஸ்ட்ங்கிறத நம்ம இன்னைக்கு வச்சுன்னு படிச்சுட்டு இருக்கோம். ஆனா அந்த காலத்துல யாருமே ஆகம டெக்ஸ்ட ஒரு டெக்ஸ்ட்னு புத்தகமா வச்சு படிச்சுட்டதே கிடையாது. அப்புறமா ஓலைச்சுவடியில் எழுதினாங்க. ஓலைச்சுவடியை பார்த்து புஸ்தகத்தை நம்ம பிரிண்ட் பண்ணிருந்தால தெரியுது. அப்ப அந்த பெரியவங்கள் எல்லாமே வேதத்தின் அடிப்படையிலும் ஆகமத்தின் அடிப்படையிலும் இருக்கின்றதான விஷயங்களை நமக்கு கூறியதால் அவர்கள் கூறிய முறைப்படி நாம் கட்டினோம். அதுதான் ஆகமம்.